Well, Nebraska has landed their second offensive line recruit in as many days as they landed Brian Tapu on Friday and Houston Kayahana Torres on Sunday, or today rather. I'm probably going to call him Houston throughout so I don't mispronounce his name. I'm not sure if that's the correct pronunciation. I'm doing the best I can, but I don't like to mispronounce people's names. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into a little bit of the things that makes him versatile, just kind of a high level overview of what makes offensive linemen versatile and fit for each position group. And then I'm going to get into his film and showcase some of these things that I think will help him, at the second level at Nebraska, at the next level coming out of high school. And there's a lot of stuff to like. Again, dual sport athlete, former wrestler, which I love to see an offensive defensive lineman. Gives a great understanding of leverage, hand positioning, those type of deals. So let's go ahead and break him down just a little bit, and I'll get into what makes him as versatile as he. So first thing with Houston is, he played both tackle and center and in high school. He's been scouted at tackle, guard, center in these camps, and most people are liking him at a guard and center. Former Under Armour All-American. Its top four was ASU, Michigan State, Nebraska, and Utah. Ultimately today selecting Nebraska. And some of the traits that make a guy like him, more so fit for the interior line. First things first, we'll look at his size. He's 6'3", 265. And a lot of people think that interior offensive linemen tend to be bigger than tackles, et cetera, just because of the nature of the position and having to be able to kind of be rangier at the tackle position. However, those guys tend to have longer arms and rangier physical attributes. But believe it or not, they did a study back in 2020, and of the interior offensive linemen out of high school, their average, the ones that made it to the NFL, the average was 6'4", 274 pounds for the interior, and for the tackle position, 6'5", 286. So believe it or not, the interior offensive lineman a little bit smaller in that regard coming out of high school. Now, the interior average for the short shuttle, for lateral agility and change of direction across the O-line, that is measuring kind of their base attribute and their main attribute, which is their feet and their agility and their lateral movement. So on average, the tackle number was 0.11 less than interior. So the interior on the short shuttle actually had a quicker time in terms of their footwork, et cetera, change of direction, making a break along the interior. When linemen pull and they need to be able to get to the second level quickly. So, the interior guys, very underrated in terms of their feet and tend to be quicker in terms of their feet and a little bit smaller in terms of stature. Again, the tackles have more length because that's necessary in protection on the edge. But you'll see with Houston here, his feet can make up for whatever potential lack of length that he has in his arms. And he could be successful at both positions. And they also did a sample a couple years back about interior offensive linemen as high school prospects. And, most interior linemen were ranked as tackles outside of high school. And again, it's the tackles that just that lack that length, but they have a great prototype like on the interior of that line. So another thing too is the position is very technical. And so understandably what we're looking for here is like a base level thing on the film from the high school guys, because the technique is going to get advanced. And a lot of that technique's gained in college and into high school. But, a couple of the things that we, necessarily like to look for, a lateral agility, reactive quickness, ability to get to the second level, making sure the upper and lower body are in sync, an ability to play with a good base and anchor with a heavy punch, get your hands on contact, get your hands into a good position on contact, because you're going to need to your initial punch is going to be what makes that rep. Okay. And then, of course, just the competitive the attitude, the makeup of the guy and how he plays on the football field is because it's a very gritty position. It's one of those positions that's very drill oriented, gritty. You're not going to get the sexy highlight plays, but you want a guy that goes out there and he loves to play that style of football, and he gets hyped up to play that grind and that style of football that's not going to be visible to most people on the outside. Okay, so let's go ahead and break down some of this film here. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to get into a little bit of his tape from the camps so we can get an idea of his technique and fundamentals from a little bit of a closer view and a better view of seeing his hands and his leverage points, and et cetera. So like I said, it does have a background in wrestling. So let's go ahead and let this run a little bit. So the first thing here is you're going to see, let me move this back here. All right. So he's got his hips in front of him. Now slides right, slides right. Now, what he does here is you can see he's kind of got his forearm framing this guy away. So if you want to kind of get a guy off balance, where your head, if your head goes over your knees or toes, you're going to go off balance forward, right? You want to keep your head over your center of gravity. So if you can control and frame their head and neck, you can kind of control where they go in another way. So kind of has that arm locked in there, and he's kind of just shoving with that forearm in there, kind of has him trapped. And then you see him framing away with that head and neck. This guy has no leverage now, no ability to push back towards him. He is in full control of this situation here as he rides him down to the ground. Simple as that. Get on top of him, make sure he doesn't get up and make a play. Okay. Now let's go ahead and move forward to play 2. Now it's going to get good here in a second. So he's going to fight him, gets him off balance, put the weight on him, ride him down again, give him that little hook. Give him a little hook so he can't get out of there, ride him down. Again, he's already off balance. Just help him get there. Put your weight on him, help him get to the ground. Okay, so let's move over into play. Okay, so in play 3 here, you're going to see a little subtle stuff here in these last couple plays. So this guy off the break, right? He's going to grab cloth. Now watch that defender try to pull him into him, and he's going to try to get around him, and he can't get around him. He does a good job of keeping his feet in base and staying in front of him. Again, mirrors him good. Watch his base, watch his feet. They move in the right way. They never cross up. He's always got a good level, good base, good balance. And so right here, now you see again, this guy was unable to get away. So he's grabbing essentially more cloth right here. Again, he's on that inside lean, so he's not going to have much leverage there. So once he's basically lost all ability to kind of push through this and lost all of his leverage, he's trying to just use his hands to fight back into the play, but ends up just kind of grabbing cloth and lifting it in the air. And then I like that. It's just that little nudge, that little push away there at the end from him. So, like I said, a little bit of that nastiness. So let's go ahead and move over into the next play. All right. So what you're going to see here is, let me run it. Okay. So he's going to come off the break here. Now he has a little bit of that outside positioning. So the defender does. So what he's going to try to do here is going to try to dip and rip through, right? But he has good hand positioning on the inside right there. So watch him try to kind of drive and rip through, but you can see he's got that hand across to the opposite shoulder pad, the other hand on the other side, and the only way for him to break out of this is going to be a spin move, and of course the only way he's going to go is to the inside. Breaks, but he's already moving in front of him, mirroring him, knowing which direction he's going to go. He's in control of that entire rep. Okay, now let's go ahead and move it to play number 5. All right, so play 5 here, you'll notice there's something that I've noticed that's very, very wrestling oriented. Now let's go ahead and let this run. Okay, so this guy's going to be coming off of the inside shoulder. So we'll watch how he let me hit the play here. All right, so gets his hand, get that outside hand or the inside hand, sorry, up into his neck again. Now he brings that right hand through. Now I want you to watch this subtle little pull that he's going to do of the defender's left arm. He's going to kind of pull him towards him, almost like they would do in a wrestling to kind of get control of the guy. Just pull him down into your base and be able to kind of lock that arm around him or get him basically to where you can control him. So watch him do that subtle pull of that left arm. Boop, pulls that down. Now look, he's off balance, pulls that left arm down, gets him off balance. Now he is at the mercy of him. Just that little subtle movement, and he literally has nowhere to go at that point. He's just basically stuck at that point. So we'll watch that again one more time. Just this little subtle hand outside. This hand grabs, watch him pull. That gets him off balance, pulls him into him, and he has the control there because he has look at way his arms are positioned. Look at the way his arms positioned. He's got the solid base. His head right now is even over his knees and toes. So that shows you right there that he doesn't have balance. Again, that is a small thing, but a very important thing that could help a lot. Just those little details. Those are what I like to see in like wrestlers, etc. And another thing to note, when they were doing the study of those offensive linemen back in the day, 13 of the top 17 picks were dual sport athletes in either wrestling or shot put or discus. 13 of those 17 top 100 drafted NFL picks. So again, there's a method to the madness when it comes to me liking the wrestling. All right, so let's get into a little bit of the high school film. All right, just a few plays I'm going to go through. I'll try to keep this short and sweet. All right, so we're going to watch a little bit on this play. It's going to show this is a lot of film of him at the tackle position again, because you can watch a lot of those traits that are going to transition over the middle, the lateral quickness, the feet, how fast he is off the line, his hands, those type of deals. You're going to also be able to see those more at the tackle position than we'll be able to see on this interior line here. So this is a couple of game weeks where he was at tackle. So let's go ahead and let it run. All right, so off the ball straight away, one step back, has inside help on this block, right? So he's just going to let him give what he takes him. He's just going to let him come into him because, again, he has this guy right here to help him out on the inside. So he's going to force this guy around. So he's patient, forces him around, and just takes him with him and doesn't give up any of his positioning. This guy looks like he's about to go take him out for no reason. But, but he mirrors him, slides with him, holds his ground, good hip, good base, good feet. Yeah, everything good there. Moving on. Let's go ahead. 26 seconds. Let's go ahead and slide forward to 26. Again, I'm gonna try to speed through this for y'all. So one of the things that you'll see here that he does is he does a good job of getting hands out. And let me show you what I mean. So I'm gonna run it. Back it up here. All right. So he's over here. So you're going to see he gets his hands out and doesn't let the defender just bully into his chest. So he kind of cushions that blow. Now you're going to watch. Basically what he does is, again, he is going to grab this outside shoulder and kind of keep this other arm to where he can keep his hips and his base below him and keep this guy kind of shaded the direction he wants to go in without the leverage. So now you see this guy is kind of pushing into him while he's just kind of leaning back into him. So it's easier to be the guy leaning and battling back than this guy trying to push and gain leverage. So again, just slides his feet, mirrors him well. He has such a good grip on him, and the inside positioning of the hands is what helps him here because his inside positioning of his hands prevents this guy from being able to kind of break through that with, any kind of rip through swim move. So he's going to have the inside positioning. So he's in full control here. And the guy just really has nowhere to go, just kind of finishes the play there. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on to play number 3. Play number 3 is going to be right here. So this is going to show a little bit of his defense against the speed rush. So you can see the quickness of his feet, but also you're going to see like the D-line is going to shift here. And an interior offensive line needs to be very knowledgeable in terms of, pre-snap reads, in terms of the defensive alignments, et cetera. So there's line's going to shift, but it's not going to really throw him off. So it's a speed rush coming off of this side right here. You'll see 8 come to speed rush him here. So the line shifted. Now he's going to stick with his assignment. He is again going to let the guy get into the chest of him. And now here he is again, putting his weight on him, one hand across, one hand into the back, and just kind of leaning that weight on him and just taking him to the ground. Just like you saw in the camp film, you see it right here on this film here. Here it is again from a different angle. And he gives him a little head kick there too, but doesn't hit him with it. I don't know if that was intention. I don't want to say that, but again, just a little bit of that edge you like to see. You like to see it. Okay, so we're gonna move it up. I got a bonus play for y'all, just 56 seconds here because I do have a lot of pass blocking stuff on here. But the guy here, let me show you a couple of these blocks here where you see just kind of his bullying mentality here, which you love to see. Right here, coming across. Just driving this guy back. Here's another one. You see him on this side. Just taking that guy back. Okay. So here he is on the right-hand side. So what this one's going to show is kind of his, ability to read and redirect his eyes. So let's see here. So he's going to be able to, so this guy's going to be running out. This guy to the right-hand side, this running back's going to be running out here. This guy's going to go out with the running back, but his initial responsibility is that guy on the outside. So watch him come out here. Okay, he identifies that, okay, that guy's going to go over with the running back. So I'm going to come help back on the inside. But he doesn't run back over to help. Watch him. Shifts his hips, right? Rotates his hips, rotates his feet. So that way, if there was a guy waiting there, he wouldn't knock him off balance, be able to get to the quarterback. And he comes back inside and he lays a block. Now, another guy's going to get through because he's one person here. And they kind of end up double teaming this guy. But his ability to get back into that play by just rotating his hips and feet without running back into it and rushing back into it. Again, just very calm, composed, good feet, good IQ, and understanding of what's going on, the protection, and where he needs to adjust. He's not panicking out there and swinging his head all around. Like he knows where to rotate to. So, all right. And then the last play here for y'all guys at 113. All right. So this one right here is just, I want you to see just his fast first step off the line, first and foremost. Oh, okay. So he's already back into his drop step before these guys have barely even lifted their feet up. So just a quick first step off the line. And now you're going to have this guy coming off the edge here. So what the guy's going to do off the edge is he's going to kind of fake the outside rush and try to dip inside. Now watch his little shift of position here. Again, he just a little slight hip rotation, good feet. Boom. All right. Switch the hips. Yeah, don't chase him with the hands. Don't chase him with the head. Switch the hips, flip the hips. Trust that you're going to be able to stay where you are and get there without having to rush into it. He just slowly transitions over, gets his hands into him long enough to be able to let his quarterback get away with the pass. So again, just against smaller defenders, against faster defenders, it doesn't matter. He's able to quickly adjust, identify, and know what proper technique and what he needs to utilize to be able to make sure that he stays within the play, but takes the guy completely out of the play. So great stuff here. Houston Kayana Torres, again, 88 rated, 3-star, very, very good upside because he has a lot of the things, Brian Tapu is a little bit more raw as a player, but a lot of the things you see here are very, very much leverage, technique oriented. And again, his technique is going to continue to improve, but he has everything you need as a base for a center guard that you want to use. Again, just probably lacks the length to be a tackle, but everything's there in terms of his quickness, his balance, his overall ability, his tenacity. Very physical at the point of attack, knows how to use his hands, knows when to use his hand, but knows when to also sit back and let the guys, kind of take themselves where they're going to take them, and he helps them get there, and that one where you get inside help. Let's force this guy to the outside and make sure he takes the long route around to give us more time and just stay in front of him. He makes his life easier when he can. He knows how to make his life easier, and again, that comes with a lot of that technique, that the quick feet, because if you don't have quick feet, you're reaching, you're trying to run after a guy, you're crossing your feet up, you're getting all off balance. So great stuff on the film here. Again, I really liked the camp video. Seeing a lot of that stuff at the camp video just shows a lot of the stuff that we won't see on this film. The little wrestling nuances of grabbing the arm, pulling it down, and getting the guy's base out from under him and pulling his head, out in front of his toes. So yeah, excited about this get. And, Nebraska's building up some momentum here in the offensive line recruiting department after, like I said, again, it was a little bit of a frustration point last week for the fan base, but patience is a virtue. We got a long road ahead of us in terms of this class. Matt Rule and company are continuing to build this momentum, and, we have no reason not to trust that they'll get this ship righted and that this recruiting momentum will continue. So I'm not panicking. Y'all shouldn't panic. We got a good one. We got a good one Friday on Brian Tapu. We got a good one today. And hopefully here's to many more coming up in the future. And I will be here to cover them all right here at Nebraska Football, the voice of college football. So if you like what I'm doing here, again, please consider liking and subscribing. Leave a comment. It really helps me out. I appreciate it, everybody. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.